Tosche Station to pick up some power converters.
Hello there. Welcome back to Tales from Tosche Station. So, that episode, the Bad Batch episode, episode 4, was, not a lot happened, but, it was a tearjerker. I'd be lying to you guys if I said it didn't almost cry at the end. So, well, you know how we do things here. Chewy, punch it. Let's get into it. All right, so we start out with Omega and Crosshair and Batcher cra- crashing on some planet. I'm not really sure what the name was. If you guys know, please tell me in the comments because I do not remember if it was ever said in the episode. I think the captain says it at the end of the episode, but that's neither here nor there. So let's just keep on going. So Omega and Omega and Bad Batch crash, and Omega wants to go back to Tantus to save the other clones, and Crosshair says no, that's not going to happen because a that's suicide. The Empire is going to notice that this ship has crashed and that they are fugitives. On top of that, he spotted a spaceport as they were coming in and tells Omega to get to it. That they're gonna go ahead and get over there. As we cut back to Tantus, Hemlock has Nala Se in holding as he finally pieces it together, finally works it out that she's been throwing away Omega's blood samples this entire time. As we see him messing with his gloved hand, something that they keep going back to. Um, we'll see what happens there. Maybe he's maybe that's a robotic hand, or maybe he's trying to, I don't know, make himself a cloned hand. I'm not really sure, but they keep kind of going back to that and showing that he's fiddling with it or messing with it. So I do think that's a little interesting. So we'll see where that goes. And next thing we see is Crosshair and Omega go into the spaceport, and this is really the first time that at least I've noticed in this show that we're seeing some changes. Things are a little darker, a little bleaker. There's patrols all over the place. Um, and Omega even says that she's surprised that they were tracked here so quickly. And Crosshair cuts her off and says, "They didn't track us here. This is just how it is now." And they eventually find some clothes to change into, and they start walking around. And like I said, this is kind of the first time that we've seen the reign of the Empire. Things are bleak. It's not the Republic anymore. It's not safe anymore. And that's at least the first time I've noticed that something like that has been happening. And then they try to sneak to a shuttle, and they actually end up convincing the port authority there that's allowing people on the shuttles to take a bribe of uh, of 30,000 credits to get on the ship. And Omega thinks that's unfair. She's trying to figure out where they're gonna get these credits, and they actually end up going into the local cantina. As we see, Omega has grown a little bit. She's grown a lot. The she's not just the MacGuffin that she was in the first season. She's actually grown a little bit. She's got some character growth on her, and we see that she is turned into a little bit of a card shark, a little bit of a scoundrel, if you might, if you know. So you're a Star Wars fan, so I'm assuming if I say scoundrel, you should know what I'm talking about. So anyway, she starts swindling her way to the credits. She plays Sabak a couple times against the card shark, and she wins about 3,500, 35,000 credits. But as she's about to leave, an Imperial captain and a patrol walk in, and the captain says, "Ho ho ho! Wait, how about you play me? I'm a little bit better than the smugglers that you've been playing here." So They play, and to his surprise, he gets beat. She beats him, and without taking that defeat lying down, um, as he's a imperial officer, he decides to do the one thing that he's allowed to do: make the rules up and cheat. So he says, "All right, you beat me fair and square. However, you have to pay a 10,000 credit fine for gambling, as it's illegal in these parts." She pays the fine reluctantly as they walk outside and find that that same captain has just kidnapped Batcher, the hound that she domesticated. And there's a kid outside that says, "Hey, I can help you, but it'll cost you 5,000 credits," which brings their total to 20,000 credits. Now, when this was going on in the episode, I personally thought that um it was going to be this running thing that by the end of the episode they're going to be stuck on this planet and they're going to be without the credits. I thought that was what the running theme was going to be in the rest of the episode. To my pleasant surprise, I was wrong. So I really enjoyed that. Um, as they uh, as they go to break Batcher out, the captain ambushes them and tells them, "You don't think I'd piece it together? I'd figured out that that crashed shuttle was yours. Oh, and by the way, I called Hemlock. So you guys aren't gonna get out of here. So how about you give me all your money? I'll put you in chains and wait for Hemlock to get here." And Omega and Omega decides that okay, Crosshair, we can do things your way now. As he shoots the cages, releasing the releasing all the monsters and all the creatures that are there, which I pretty sure I heard a porg, and uh, as the fight is happening, we see we see Crosshair's hands shaking again, and he can't shoot straight, which they've been going back to his hands shaking. Something happened to him while he was there. Maybe he's just been through it. I mean, the man's been through one heck of a character arc, if I might say, from the first season to now. So yeah, he's been through it. And I think that's just his handshaking is just a residual side effect of everything he's been through. A little bit of PTSD, but I'm getting off track. To get back on, uh, his hands are just shaking uncontrollably, and he can't really shoot straight. So he takes out as many as he can, and amid the chaos, he tells Omega to get Batcher and go start the cargo ship up. And as they do this, um, as they do this, there's a lot of different creatures and monsters attacking the stormtroopers, as well as Crosshair taking out as many stormtroopers as he can. As the captain gets taken down by a Rathtar, the same things that Han Solo was hauling in the Force Awakens, which I thought was a very nice touch. And it was really nice to see that guy get his comeuppance because I mean, the stereotypical Imperial officer is just kind of a big, fat, meanie jerk. So it was really nice to see him get his. So they escape, and as they escape, um, Omega says that she's put out a coded transmission to go rendezvous with Hunter and Wrecker. As Hemlock shows up and that he just missed him, like maybe within 10 minutes. Sorry, Hemlock, you got to do better than that. You should know that by now. And he tells he tells his clone commando, which I believe is Scourge, um, that 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 he wants them to track him. So that's where we leave off with Hemlock, and now we get to the tissue paper um, part of the episode where where there's some onion cutting happening in the room. Um, they reunite. We see Wrecker and Hunter reunite with Omega, and the line that got me was, "We crossed the galaxy 4 times looking for you, but you're the one who found us." No, not 4, 5 times. As Hunter walks out and sees her for the first time in 6 months, and the episode closes with Omega telling them that she had help. As we see Crosshair walk off, walk off the ship, and that's where it cuts to black. That's where it ends. So there wasn't really a lot that happened in this episode. I'm not going to exactly say it was filler because it wasn't. It moved the plot forward. Um, we got the band back together a lot sooner than I was expecting. I wasn't expecting to see them back together for at least like episode 7 or 8. I was expecting them to kind of draw it out a little bit, but it is nice to see them back together again. The only thing, and I've been thinking about this, the only thing that we don't see in this episode is we don't see an interaction between Crosshair, Wrecker, and Hunter because gotta remember, Crosshair doesn't know that Tech's dead, so they have to tell him. And I think we might get that next week. I think next week's episode is probably gonna be where we see Rex and Echo for the first time. I think that's when we first see them in this season because that's really the only logical place that my mind is going. Or maybe they do a adventure of the week. Um, maybe next week's that episode we see in the trailer where they're and uh just help me out, guys. I can't. My mind's blinking. I think they were trying to steal resources off a Republic tank. I can't remember the designation. But I think that's we might get that next week. We might get that episode, or we might see uh, Echo and Rex doing something with them, or maybe that's what that episode is. They all get together and do something to try to get the mojo back, try to get the try to get that magic back in them. And yeah, I'm just really interested to see where things go. So I'm gonna kind of theory craft for the next few minutes. Um, I think that we're probably gonna see them next week, like I said, and then we're gonna start seeing them running missions, trying to get trying to get their chemistry back up, and then they're gonna end up going back to Tantus, and I think we're gonna see what what Omega really is. Um, I think she might be force sensitive. Um, just because I mean it would make sense that she's force sensitive. Maybe she's. I mean, it sounds like she's a anomaly of some kind. Um, that she's supposed to be a female version of Boba, but I don't think that was supposed to happen. If I'm understanding it correctly, her being a female just kind of happened. Same thing with her being force sensitive. Do I think she's a Jedi? Mm, nah, maybe. Maybe. I don't think she's that force sensitive. I think it's just starting out, and I think that's why she's so valuable is because she is force sensitive, and she's the key to making force sensitive clones, and something happens to her. Either she goes missing or she gets killed with the rest of the Bad Batch. I don't know. And that's why 40, 50 years later, during the Mando timeline, that we see them trying to get after Grogu. Because right here, where we're at in this timeline, they are like footsteps away from figuring this out. I mean, they are right there, and Omega is the key. So what happens to her? Because 50 years later, they're in the same spot with Grogu. We're trying to get his blood, trying to clone him so they can finish Project Necromancer. Um, maybe Hemlock gets sent off to uh Exegol after the Emperor finds out that there are other people, other clones that know about this operation now. Maybe that's what happens. I mean, maybe I don't know. I think things are about to get really, really fun. I think there's going to be a lot of legend stuff that's going to get put into lore now, put into canon now. I would think that maybe we see, I don't know, the 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 creation or the hints of being successfully cloned. Maybe we get Joris Sabayoth um, introduced at the end of the season. Maybe he gets introduced in the Mando movie. I don't know, but I do think that she's going to be um, force sensitive, and that um, she's going to have something to do with this. So let's just see what happens, guys. And well, until next week. Well, not until next week. Uh, until the next episode. See y'all later. May the force be with you.